that war came about, and that struck again a concern of mine. That concern about being abused, and an abused person because of your race, or was something that was happening over there in Europe. And it's like you ring a bell, you know, and if you're tuned in, you hear the bell. And I heard that bell, and I knew I was going into the Army. My brother was in the first draft.
You said it was like hearing a bell, and if you're tuned in, you hear that bell, and you heard the bell. Mm-hmm. The bell that you're talking about was in terms of the anti-Semitism, Nazism, and all that was going on in terms of oppression of the Jews.
Yes.
And you felt that you had
I felt that I had some responsibility in that I had to respond to that in some way, that I couldn't not hear that. And I knew that they were going to get me in the Army. And so I said to myself, are they going to get me, or am I going to go? And I have to do the thing where I have the choice, for the most choice. So it was then that I understood that they were accepting black applicants as pilots for the Air Force. And so I said, okay, what I get out of that is, at that time I computed it to be a $27,000 education. And I will learn to fly a plane, and that, and other things. Become an officer, and that's the things that I want to do. So I volunteered when I knew I was going to get drafted. I volunteered. Well, that delayed it because they weren't taking everybody who volunteered right at the first moment. You got to wait till there's a space, and you got to wait till there's a black space. So that delayed things a bit. So then they have to give you examinations and all kind of physical and other examinations, which I took. But I was delayed in the process of getting into the Air Force. So finally I got into the Air Force. And in the Air Force, they sent me to Biloxi, Mississippi. Biloxi, Mississippi was where pre-training and examinations went on. So I went down there, and I went through the pre-training and examinations, and I came out of there, was ready to come out of there, when I was informed that the Air Force had changed their needs. And now I had qualified for bombardier navigator, or bombardier pilot, and but not for navigator. And for blacks, they needed navigators, so I was ruled out, having passed to get in. And so I was sent from there up to Sioux Falls, South Dakota,